Hello and welcome to my weekly Roundup. My week started out with an unexpected hiring out of my studio. The guys at Global, a company who own many of the commercial radio stations in the UK, needed to record a couple of people from Grimsby for a radio advert, and they were struggling to find a local studio. They got in touch with me to see if I was willing to record them here, which I was. I had to be on hand as the audio engineer to record the session, whilst they were directed by the guys at Global down the line to my studio. It all went very smoothly, and I'd be happy to do it again. Straight after the session, I was off to Barton for a real-life meeting with Nathan and Mike from VIP Creative. We've been planning to meet for a chat and a catch-up for ages and finally managed to get together. Our original venue of choice, the Ropewalk cafe, turned out to be closed on a Monday, but thank goodness for the Honeypot cafe at the Water's Edge Visitor Centre. The Small Business Britain team put on a webinar this week about using TikTok for business with Catherine George from Oh So Social. It was interesting, but I'm not sure it's for me. I don't really have the time. TikTok is all about engaging and entertaining your customers with short videos, and at the moment it has a very young audience. If your product or service is aimed at the younger end of the market, then it could be a very useful platform for you. On the Small Business Big Network podcast this week, you can hear me talking about the highlights of the last year. The podcast is a year old this month, so I thought I would revisit some previous episodes and point new listeners towards some of my favourites. I've recorded 3 new episodes this week too, with Brett Sheldon, Stuart Webb and Lady Adi, so listen out for those over the next few weeks. On Wednesday, I attended Michael Hardy and David O'Brien's consulting room lunch. The theme was hints and tips for productivity, and some very useful bits and bobs were shared. For example, when you're copying and pasting, instead of using Ctrl+V for pasting items, if you click Windows V, it then shows the last 10 copied items to choose from. Now, if someone can tell me how to do that on a Mac, I'll be very grateful. Also on Wednesday, I popped along to the IDG roaming event. This is like a virtual exhibition hall where you can wander around stands, chat to people and see presentations on the big screen. There's going to be lots more of these test events to get people used to using the platform. It does take a bit of getting used to, but I think it's brilliant and the closest thing to a real-life exhibition that I've seen. Do follow Kelly Frith if you'd like to know more or be invited to a future event. This morning I've been to a BNI training session with Andrew Gibson. He was talking about the importance of using storytelling to explain how your business helps clients. People are much more likely to remember and be able to pass on a story about how you made a difference to someone rather than facts and figures about what you do. I've heard Andrew speak on this topic before, but it's always good to be reminded. That's all for this week. I'm off to answer the phone. Join me again next week for another Roundup.